Hello, Miss Dean. It's nice to meet with you again.
Nice to meet with you as well.
So, tell me how have things been going since the last time we met? Is there anything new that's been going on? Any new issues at work or with your family, or any other issues that you want to talk about today?
Well, things are okay. Um, there have been a little bit improvement since the last time we talked. But I mean, for the most part, things are just okay.
Okay, great. So, just to go back to where we left off from our last session, I know that we were discussing your job and that it was a demanding job, and that, but you love it, and that you were having some issues in regards to your family not being accepting or supporting your decision in regards to the career path that you chose. And there was also some talk that some discussion between us about things that you can do to alleviate stress or and focus on you. And some of those things were to one, when to have time for yourself, maybe binge watch some shows or plan a vacation to go somewhere, or to have a conversation with your sister that you're most closest with prior to having your conversations with your mother and your other sibling. Have we made any progress towards those things?
Um, well, we did talk about those things last time, like me watching movies or planning a trip with my family. And I haven't been able to fully commit to those things,
Right.
but I was able to kind of take some time out for myself to decompress every day. I take about an hour where I cut off my phone. I don't touch my computer. There's no emails. I'm totally disassociated from everything,
Right.
and it's just me. And I do that for about an hour every day when I get home from work.
Right.
I have found that that is kind of helpful. Like it has been really, really nice actually. Um, I kind of feel like I've gained some sense of control over my life by doing that. Um, However, I still have anxiety about it because during that time that I'm totally cut off from the rest of the world, I feel like everything is piling up, waiting
Right.
on me to, connect back with everything. And so that's still a work in progress. Like trying to definitely separate being cut off and then connecting back to the world, but not feeling like I have so much on my plate when I come back.
Right. Right. And so, again, you feel some anxiety with just turning off your phone and just totally tuning the world out, and just focusing on you, although you have been making positive strides in trying to do something for you. And I wanted to mention that I think that it's a phenomenal thing that you've been able to implement, small strides into, seeing about you when you come home from work, and taking care of you. And so I wanted to talk about how has things been going in regards to your issues with your family. How are we moving forward with that?
To be honest, right now, I'm kind of just over the whole family thing. It's taking up too much of my time and my energy, and I just don't have time for it. I don't feel like dealing with it.
Right, right. I know in weeks past we talked about how important your family is to you, and that you value what they say, and that their opinion matters, and you want their support, and you want their love and their acceptance of what you're doing. But I'm a bit confused. On one hand, you say that you don't care, but on the other, you genuinely do want their support, and you want them to be there to to accept what you're doing. So can you help me to understand that?
I do want um, their approval.
Right,
I do care what they think. I just don't feel like I need their approval.
right,
Uh, However, I think that I've kind of downplayed the progress that I've made as far as moving forward to even have discussions with them.
right,
Um, it's just, I don't want to be put in the position where I feel like I have to um, get them to agree with where I am,
Right.
as far as my career. But I was able to talk to my sister,
Good.
and I feel like that was a good decision, for us to, to take that time and to speak, because it was a lot easier than I at first initiated. She
Right.
was easy to talk to, and although she is firm in her stance, she was open and she was willing to listen, and she connected with me on that, and I appreciated her sitting there and taking that time to talk
Right.
to me and not coming down on me for my decision, but actually hearing me out.
Right.
So I was grateful for that.
Right, and I think that it's good that you've recognized that you have made some improvement in that direction of, dealing with your issue with your family, at least just by talking to your sister. I know for me that when I've had issues in regards to difficult conversations that I needed to have with my family, it was hard for me. But sometimes when you just think about, taking that challenge head on and just having that difficult conversation, it can open doors and alleviate so much stress that you have on yourself, and you can be able to deal with those issues accordingly, and work through those issues and not psych yourself out to, have a negative outcome. The outcome can be more favorable if we just take that time to deal with that issue instead of thinking about all of the negative things that could come of it. If we just, plan to, I'm just going to deal with this head on, and, no matter what the outcome is, I've addressed it, and so now you feel better about that. And so I think that that's really great that you've done that.
Yeah, and I kind of wish I had knew that kind of like going in,
Right.
because it almost seemed like things did become easier once I sat down and we had that conversation that I had been avoiding for
Right.
so long. Things just started to flow.
Right.
It was comfortable.
Right, right. And so now that you've taken that big step to have that conversation with your sister, and it seems that you've had some success there. You mentioned that she was supportive of you,
Yeah.
and it was easy for you to talk to her, and that you feel more comfortable now. How do you feel moving forward? What is another goal that you would like to work towards, going forward with your family?
Well, for one, I definitely would like to plan a trip for myself. I want to go somewhere, get away, not have any work or family issues to deal with. Just kind of take some time for myself,
Right.
and really go on a big trip somewhere I've never been.
Right,
And then I also want to sit down with the rest of my family
right.
and have that conversation with them so that we can all be on the same page.
Right, right. And so, are there any thoughts that you've had in regards to putting that plan into motion, in action? And another thing that I want to ask is, what do you feel like is of most importance? What would you like to focus on first? Is it your family, being that I know that they mean so much to you and their approval really matters, or is it that taking that time for you is something that you would want to approach first? Which goal would you like to attack or obtain first?
Definitely my family.
Right.
Talking with them would probably be my priority.
Right. And so, have we thought about any avenues that we would like to go down in regards to dealing with your family first?
Yeah, I actually have. My family has a few get-togethers coming up,
Right.
and I thought that that would be an opportunity for us to sit down and talk when we'll always already be together.
Right.
And then from there, we can sit down, and I only have to have this conversation one at a time. Their guards are already down because they're in a relaxed environment, because they're on vacation and enjoying themselves, and maybe it will just be a smooth and easy conversation like it was with my sister, because they'll already be in that mind frame.
Right.
So that's what I was thinking.
Right. And I think that that's a good idea for you, and it's really a good idea that you've been putting some thought into how you would proceed with moving forward with your family. And I also think that it would be good for you guys to be in a calm and relaxed environment. You already feel some sort of support from your sister, so that you won't feel alone and isolated when you go forward with having this conversation with your mother and your other sibling. So I think that is really good. In regards to you doing something for yourself, or planning a trip. What have we set into motion in regards to doing that?
Um, well, I figured I would take a cruise
Right.
in the beginning of the year. That's something I've always wanted to do.
You seem excited about that.
I am,
Right.
but yeah, I'm gonna take some time off from work and go on a cruise.
Right. Right. And so, have you made any plans in regards to this cruise? I know that I see that you're excited about that, and that's really awesome. But have you thought about what you can do to kind of solidify your plan of going on this cruise? Have you thought about looking up cruise lines, or seeing the attractions that the cruise may have, or anything or activities that they have, or have you enlisted any friends that could possibly go with you? Have you made a down payment or a deposit on the cruise? Have you thought about those things?
To be honest, I hadn't really thought about those. I kind of just said I was gonna do it and made up my mind that that was what I was gonna do. But it's a good idea, and I think I probably should look into those things. As far as I knew, it was just going to be me, just something I was going to do by myself, take that time away for myself. But I really think that I should take that initiative and that step and actually book this trip instead of just talking about it. Because if I just talk about it, it may never get done.
Right.
So I think that that's a good idea, and I will look into that probably Monday of this week. Go ahead and start making the arrangements so that it's already scheduled. There's nothing that can hinder it, or at the end I can't come in and say, oh, I'm not gonna go,
Right.
because I've already paid.
Definitely. And I think that that's, a good step moving forward for you to take that initiative to go ahead and solidify a trip, and, go ahead and look up things, and so that you can feel some sense of, I'm doing this for me, and that this is something that I want for me. And so, again, I think that it's great that you've made these strides towards being a better you and taking care of you, and, coming to terms with, this is your career choice that you've chosen, despite the fact that if your family may not necessarily be accepting of it, you still have come to terms with, although they may not accept you and what your job and what you're doing wholeheartedly, at least you still have had that conversation with them, or you will have that conversation with your mother and your sister sometime in the future. You're planning, but you've taken a lot of strides in having that difficult conversation with your sister, and trying to alleviate stress on your job by coming home and just turning your phone off. And those are areas that I know it seems that you still want to get better at, but I think that you've made some great gains and some great strides. And so, is there anything else that you wanted to talk about? Anything else that's going on that you would like to discuss? And if not, how would you feel in regards to terminating our sessions and our work with each other? And again, not that I would hate to see you go, because I think that you've been a great client, but I think that you've done your work and you've done a great job, and you've made some positive gains, and you're going in a good direction. How do you feel?
I agree. I think that I have made a lot of good strides. I'm learning how to value my opinion
Right.
first, even without totally disregarding others' opinions, and particularly my family's opinions. I can still value their opinion as well as mine. Also trying to learn how to still take time for myself. And while that has been a process, I think that we have been, successful in at least taking those small steps.
Right.
And so I do see the progress, and I appreciate the work that we've been doing, because
Right.
it has helped, and I see that in
Good.
myself now, and I do feel more comfortable about a lot of the things that I'm doing
Good.
that I don't think that I would have done, a couple weeks ago.
Right.
So, no, at this point, I don't see any other issues that are pertinent in my life that would be causing issues like those were to me.
Right.
I just see the progress that I made, and I can appreciate that. So I thank you for that.
Well, that's good. And so, just to go back over what we've started out with up until now, you initially came in having some difficulty with, your work-life balance and just trying to get a understanding of what you wanted and needed for yourself when you were done with work, all while trying to balance work, and then you were having issues with, doing something that was just for you, as well as having that difficult conversation with your family in order to, have them understand where you were coming from, get a sense of acceptance from them, and regardless of if you didn't get that acceptance and get that whatever it was that you wanted from them to, support you, you've still been able to make, gains and strides into overcoming those things and being successful at the things that you've set out to do. So, which was to, have that difficult conversation that you've made progress in doing, and that hopefully you will continue to go on in a positive direction. You're learning, or have learned a valuable lesson in regards to taking a step back after you're done with work and just doing something totally for you, and de-escalating and cutting out, other influences and distractions when you get off of work. And lastly, making, strides in trying to plan a trip so that you can get away and just do something for you. So I think that those are phenomenal things that you've done. I'm so happy about the progress and the success that you've made, and it has been totally a pleasure working with you. And I hope that you will continue to go forth in life on a positive, direction, and live a happy and healthy life.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Great, great, great. Nice to meet you again. Thank you.
Thank you.